morning to everybody. Yeah, okay. Very good morning to everybody. Today we are beginning our third season of presentations for the students who are in the batch of 2021-23. Today is the first day of the presentation, and in this season of presentations, students are going to make various presentations on Indian English literature, then post-colonial studies, cultural studies, and literary theory and criticism. Today we will have a presentations on Indian English literature, which is published in pre-independence time. Let me share the list of the students who are going to make presentations in this session. We will have the presentations from Aamena on an astrologer's day in context with blind faith in prediction and superstition. That is R.K. Narayan's short story. Bhavna will make presentation on the home and the world. I think it is nationalism versus universalism. There is a spelling mistake of nationalism. We have already informed you to be very careful about your title and other thing, because whatever you are typing here will be copy pasted in YouTube, in LinkedIn, at various places. So your error will be reflected as my error. Your spelling error will be reflected as my spelling error. So be careful about the spellings that you are typing, capitalization. I have informed you that it is not good to make comments when the live streaming is going on or when things are recorded. But if you keep on making mistakes, then we have to keep on commenting about this. Okay, Dhruvita will make presentation on character of Bimla, I think from Tagore's novel, The Home and the World. Dhvani's presentation will be on the concept of Indianness in R.K. Narayan's novel, The Guide. Divya Parmar will make presentation on partition of Bengal and Swadeshi movement. Divya Sheta will read on the home and the world in Mansfield Park and Ghare, Baire. Emisha will read on nationalism through lens of Tagore. Himanshi's presentation on class conflict and caste conflict in the Kursk or Karna and in present time. Hinaba Sarvaiya will read on influence of Sanskrit in T.P. Kailasam's drama. And finally, in this morning session, we will have Hiruva's presentation on cultural conflict in the home and the world. There, you all are going to make peer review also, peer review and self review also. You are going to make an online platform, and you are well aware about the links which are shared in Google Classroom. All your presentations are also submitted in Google Classroom. So, with the help of the presentations in Google Classroom, you are going to make all these presentations. Okay? So let us start with the first presentation of the day. So Aamena, you can start with your presentation.
Visible. Now visible. Yes, sir. Now it's visible. Visible. Good morning, respected sir and my dear friends. My topic is an astrologer's day in context with blind faith in prediction and superstition. This is my personal details. Content biography of writer, a brief summary of an astrologer's day, blind faith in prediction and superstition, and conclusion. I will talk brief about the introduction of R.K. Narayan. R.K. Narayan was born in R.K. Narayan was an Indian writer, and his fictional South Indian town of Marguri, he used to uh, give this name in most of his books. His first novel was Swami and His Friends. Uh, he was a leading author of earlier Indian literature in English, along with Mulk Raj Anand and Raja Rao. He used to write about the daily ironies in his books, about the daily life with humor in the topic. So now I will talk about the brief summary of an astrologer's day. The astrologer's day is a story about an astrologer who used to live in a town of Malgudi. There he has committed a crime, but it was revealed at last with the suspense that last the Guru Nayak came to him and he told that can you predict that who has killed me or tried to kill me. So the astrologer was afraid that I have committed this crime. So how could I tell to him that I have committed this crime? So he tells the Guru Nayak that you go to your town, and he tells about the past stories, because he has already done these things and he know that he has committed all things. Whether he will say the truth, then he will be in the problem. So this is the short story, and I will now connect this story with the blind faith in prediction and superstition. uh, the astrologer and astrologer that show how the history has become the similar life of an wandering, that how in nowadays how the astrologers people are having blind faith in astrologers. So this is an image of an astrologer who is sitting on a roadside, and the person is telling that can you predict. So this is and the story we have seen, the astrologer himself was not having the knowledge of astrology, but then too for business he tried to predict the future or fortune about the person, and even the people were coming to him to see their future. So this happens because first of all the people are not having the knowledge about astrology and astrologers. So they come in the context with the astrologer, and they try to predict about their future because they are having the blind faith in astrologers. Without knowing an identity of the astrologers, they come and tell, can you predict our fortune? This is the advertisement are shown given in the newspapers, and this is a creative advertisement they are giving uh, for the future fortune. They don't try to first of all ease our problem, but they even dictates our marriage and even financial investment through planetary positions. And moreover, given how powerful superstitions are already in Indian culture, a practitioner of astrology, numerology, palmistry, and other similar should pseudoscience means the black magic is done, Often people are targeted in this for their financial gain. They ask for the money and people provide them money in the return. This is artificial draping. In the movie, we have seen TK, that is the Dhongi Baba. Bollywood has even also tried to show the pictures and characters of the Baba, who this is someone who pretends to be guru, but he's fraud. He's fraud. He has a breed and has a costume and tilak and everything he does, and becomes a Baba. So in the movies also we can see that now they are trying to show the picture of the that how they are draping the humans, arms with a magic thread on the wrist, protected by chants and special pujas. The Indian gets going into the world. Uh, they try to convey the talk and give the guru mantras and try to trap the people in their story. These are the examples of the blind faith in superstition. This is example of the 2003, and this is the example of 2013, and this is the most recent example of 2018. So these are the three examples, and still we can see the blind faith is going on and on. People are still believing in the blind faith. In the first example, the Bengal tribal men killed the witches. In this story, the people believe that the ladies or women living in the village, because of them, the disease are being spread in the village, and so they were killed for that because of having the blind faith in black magic and witches. The girl raped woman killed for her alleged indulgence in the black magic in Chhattisgarh. In this also, mostly these cases we can see the ladies are being pretended and as witches, and mostly these cases are being seen in the villages area. So people are still believing in the witches and black magic and prediction. In this story, I would conclude by saying that in this story, it is shown that astrologer's day, but it is not an astrologer's day. The writer revealed how only the qualification is needed to an astrologer in India is a saffron cloth, flu charts, and tilaks, and a keen observation of human nature, along with the presence of mind, which is a serious issue in India, as people are baffled in the religious and blind belief. It also shown that how the faith of person is decided. This all shows how people are deeply having blind faith in superstition power as well as fortune prediction. I would end my presentation by saying a quote: never believe the lines on your hands that predict your future, because people who don't have hands also have future. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll have questions from. Not typed yet. Yeah. Question, you have to keep it advanced. You is ready? Yes, you can ask. Hirwa, yeah. Okay. Where are you? Just a minute. Let me locate you. Come in the center. If you're sitting 2, 3 together, then don't make it blur. Otherwise, your things with everything will not be clear. If you're you're not proper still, you have to. This is what we are teaching to all the teachers, and they will say that even in your class, students don't know how to face camera. Then what are you teaching to others? Again, still see you see the camera, focus and try to locate, and when it is going live and we have to give this kind of instructions, it is not fair. Center means center. No, center doesn't mean left or right. Still it is not center. take little bit distance far, also full is visible. Hmm. Okay, you can.
I have my full presentation was based on this, that why people are believing in black magic and what are the disadvantages of black magic. uh, the astrologers which are not having even the knowledge of astrology, they are predicting the future of other person. In the story also we have seen the astrologers was himself not it's unmuted. The people who are not having even the knowledge of the astrology are predicting. In the story also we have seen the astrologer was himself not having the knowledge, but then too he was trying to see the future of the person. And in the last of the suspense revealed about the Guru Nayak, that he was aware about the story, that he was have done this crime and tried to commit the murder of Guru Nayak, but he was himself knowing, but Guru Nayak was not aware of this, so he came in the trap of the astrologer.
Sir, I have a question. Amina, do you feel blind faith and astrology actually influence or harmful to the life of person?
Yes, blind faith of an astrologer and influence harmful to person's life, because when the astrologer commits the positive commitments, then we feel happy or feel, oh, that's good, that it will happen something good. But when he tells something the negative comments, then we feel that it's bad, and whole day we think about that comments, that what will happen and what we will do. So that positive comments is not harmful, but negative are harmful for human. Thank you. Sir.
So next, yes, Bhavna, are you able to share, or what's the problem? You can try here another LAN cable if that yellow cable is not working, or then there are LAN cables there. So these are the things which in advance we'll have to arrange, so that when the things are going on, we don't have disconnections. So it means that during the semester, somewhere you have to keep on trying this. I don't think that last time you joined StreamYard in last semester and then ever you tried this. Then you have a practice. If you don't do it, then it will not. You will not have a practice. So keep this in mind for next semester. That just a dummy presentation round you all will take in the classroom whenever you are free. Half a day, many times you have free. So you can make a StreamYard meeting among everybody from mobile, from laptop, and do the practice. And also involve juniors also. So we can save our time. Otherwise, just 25 minutes we have wasted in one presentation only. Those who are not able to do, it is your responsibility to learn, so that everybody's time is not wasted. So it seems these are very difficult skills. After 2 semesters also, you are still facing problem. Yes, now it is coming. Now it is there.
Hello everyone. Today is my topic the home and the world in nationalism versus universalism. He is my personal informations. So about Rabindranath Tagore, he was born 7 May 1861, Kolkata, India. He was Bengali poet, short story writer, song composer, playwright, essayist, and painter. And in the 1913, he became the first non-European to receive the Nobel Prize for Literature. About his novels, The Home and the World, in the original Bengali Ghare Baire, written by Rabindranath Tagore, published in 1916. His notable work, Gora, Kabuliwala, Gitanjali, and many others. Nationalism versus universalism. Tagore's vision of human unity and equality and his critique of modern civilization with its twin principle of materialism and nationalism is recurrent in all his works. The Home and the World, produced out of the ravages of time, relieved some of the poet's own anguish. The novel deals with experiences of three characters during the volatile period of Swadeshi. Nikhil, benevolent, enlightened, and progressive Zamindars, and his friend Sandeep, a charismatic nationalist leader. Nikhil's wife, Bimla, who is happy at the outside in her traditional role as a Zamindar's wife. Nikhil represents Tagore's view of patriotism on constructive lines rather than political, emotional, and tyrannically approached. Sandeep represents aggressive nationalism rather than ethical or human grounds. Uh, um, Bimla is torn between the two contradictory elements of truth and force, reason and emotion, idealism and opportunism. The spell of Sandeep is so profound that under his influence, Bimla forgot her individual identity and she identifies herself as a sole representative of Bengal womanhood. Bimla's attraction was primarily due to her admirations for the leadership and surprisingly effective speeches he delivers on economic and political nationalism. Then Rabindranath, who had himself played a leading part in the Swadeshi movement in his earlier phases, here depicts through Bimla how the women folk of Bengal became stirred heart and soul during Swadeshi movement. And through the character of Sandeep, Tagore openly criticized the extremist nationalists of the then Swadeshi movement. The lapse of Sandeep represent the lapses of Swadeshi. The failure of Bimla represents the failure of Swadeshi movement. The attack on Nikhil is parallel to the attack on Tagore. Tagore's global sentiment through Nikhil when Sandeep arbitrarily equates God with nation. Uh, Sandeep I truly believe my country to be my God, Nikhil. If what you really believe, there should be no difference for you between man and man, and so between country and country. Here is citations.
How Bimla represents the Bengali good woman in the novel.
Yes, Bimla was was he outside uh, uh, in Bimla, and Sandeep was then
Bhavna, how do you find that the failure of Bimla is the failure of Swadeshi movement?
Bimla is was a failure because uh, she was firstly not joined Swadeshi movement. Then Sandeep represent Swadeshi movement. Then he joined. So then
Hello everyone, it's me Dhruvita Dhameliya. This is season 3 of presentation. This is my topic is Bimla portrait of womanhood. This is my personal information. The novel The Home in the World written by Rabindranath Tagore. Introduction of Rabindranath Tagore. Rabindranath Tagore was a Bengali poet, short story writer, song composer, playwright and painter. He introduced new prose and verse form and the use of colloquial language into Bengali literature. Helped introduce Indian culture to the West, vice versa, and is generally regarded as an outstanding creative artist of early 20th century India. He is a leader of Brahmo Samaj, which was a new religious sect in the 19th century Bengal, and in which he attained a revival of ultimate monastic basic of Hinduism and laid down in the Upanishad. His famous work, Rabindranath Tagore's writing is deeply rooted in both India and Western learning tradition. Apart from fiction in the form of poetry, song, short story, dramas, it is also include portrayal of common people life, literary criticism, philosophy, and social issues. Tagore originally wrote in Bengali, but later reached a broad audience in the West after recasting his poetry in English. In contrast to the French French life in the West, his poetry was felt to convey the peace of soul in harmony with nature. His famous poetry are Mansi, in English the Idle One, Sonatari, in English the Golden Boat, Gitanjali, in English Song Offering, Gitimalyam, Wreath of Song, Balaka, the Flight of Cranes. He is author of several volumes of short story and number of novels. Among them, Gora and Ghare are famous ones. The basic information about The Home in the World. The Home in the World, the novel by Rabindranath Tagore, set against the political and logistical nightmare of India 20th century caste system. Although the story focuses on dynamic of marriage, which shift when the shadow outsider enter in the lives of the couple. Much of novel reads like a philosophical threads. There are shifting viewpoints between the character Bimla, Nikhil, and Sandeep, and much of the novel comprise their internal and external dialogue as they consider serious issues such as a tradition, the role of men and women in Indian culture, the nature of political change, the occasional need of violence and political activism, and the other theoretically exercise such as a weighing of public good. Major character in the novel, Nikhilesh is a ideal husband and who is a supporter of his wife. Bimla, the ideal wife, who believes that a woman's space is the feet of his husband. Sandeep, Sandeep is the leader of Swadeshi movement and the outsider who enter in the life of the couple and destroy the life of them. Hello, I am Bimla. My husband used to say that man and wife are equal in love because of their equal claim on each other. I never argued the point with him, but my heart said that devotion never stand in the way of truly equality. It only raise the level of the ground of meeting. Therefore, the joy of a higher equality remains permanent. It never slides down the vertical level of reality. This is what Bimla believed in the starting of the novel, that when before the Sandeep enters their life, Bimla believes that woman's space is in the feet of their husband. She should live in a life, home life. She shouldn't go outside of the world. She is able to handle home only. Character of Bimla. Bimla is a rare portrayal of womanhood by Rabindranath Tagore because, unlike the other female character in Indian literature, there are two sides of Bimla. She is obligated to serve her husband and take care of her household. Yet she is also willing to overstep these boundaries to speak out for her people. This fact is what makes her positive representation of woman in the home in the world. Bimla in Tagore's The Home in the World is perhaps the liveliest character of the story. She is the center of action as well as attraction of the novel. She emblematizes love and amid the fire and fury of politics, and her psychological intricacy contributes much in making Tagore's novel an interesting study. God may grant us a gift, but the merit of being able to take and hold them must be our own. Alas for the boon that slip through unworthy hands. Bimla believes that God give us a gift, but if we are capable to control it or handle it, then and only. Bimla is not a flat character, as we witness that she changed with transition of events, situation. Now the changed as Sandeep enters in their life, Bimla influenced by the charm and the glamour of Sandeep, and she is willingly support Sandeep too in this movement, Swadeshi movement. As Sandeep called her Queen Bee, she believes that she is a queen. He appears to her as a hero of Swadeshi, and Bimla gets almost overwhelmed and hypnotized by Sandeep's personality at the very first sight. She reveals her own feeling as she says, "The whole place is filled with an immense crowd through which Sandeep Babu is born. Sit in a big chair hoisted on the shoulder of 10 or 12 youth." She forgot her well-sheltered aristocratic conservative home to which she belonged and started visualizing herself as the sole representative of Bengal womanhood. Thus, in the course of novel, Bimla transferred herself from a meek wife of the home to the inspired champion of the Swadeshi in the wide world outside. Thus began a new phase in Bimla's life. She came out of her home, spun life, and her wifely devotion, partly because of Nikhil instigation and partly because of Sandeep charm. The latter's well calculated adoration of her as a queen bee, the symbol of Mother India, was irrespective of her. She is a conflicting attitude, feeling, and thought which recur randomly in the narrative. Bimla, the woman sat between the option of choices between the motherland and the two men, gradually transgressed from the shackles of her native identity to become beset now woman. Through her dilemma, Tagore allegorized the conflict of the nation. On the one hand, Nikhil, echoing westernized idea on the role of woman in society, wants to bring her out of Parda into the world at the peak of the Swadeshi movement. As is the starting of the novel, Nikhil wants to Bimla to step out from the home and remove Parda situation. He wants her to become her own independent self. Therefore, his aim is not only to betake her with all the rich money can buy, but also educate her. Nikhil believes that money cannot change Bimla, but education can. In the novel, Tagore compare Bimla with the Sita. Tagore shaping of the image of the Bimla, like Bimla is also completely devoted to her husband as a Sita did. In as a Bimla struggle, also we can compare with the Sita struggle. As a Bimla as a Sita, Nikhil as a Ram, and the Sandeep as a role of Ravan. Sita in the Ramayana and Bimla in the home in the world are categorized with a specific Hindu construction of woman, either as an agent or agent of change or reform or revolution. Both of them represent an iconographic presentation of various phenomenal forms of feminine divinity, the mythical icon and the patriotic energetic form of symbolism, invoking the feminine principle as a source of creation, destruction, and restoration. Like Bimla, Sita in the epic of the Ramayana begin her life journey as a typical bride, tender and loving by her nature, betrothed to her husband, care and concern twice as much as her loved her. Allegorically, in the home in the world, Nikhil citing Sita as a Draupadi as an example of free woman, draws an analogy with Bimla in her to encounter with the world, not to keep herself as a Parda Nashin, but to allow her to accompany him to Calcutta to complete his MA degree. He urged Bimla to come into the heart of the outer world and meet reality. Thus, both Sita and Bimla living the inner circles of Zenana come to outer world, equating the terms of their free living life. It can never be ignored that both could have stayed in their confinement had not the inspiration the initiation remained on the part of their husband, thus counteracting the traditional custom of remaining within the Lakshman Rekha of their home, bounds their first move into the world, reinforced their statements of individual promoted and protected by their male counterpart at large. As we know that Bimla is a pass away Lakshman Rekha and enter into the Sandeep's room. Then everything was started as she influenced by the charm and glamour of Sandeep. The new Bengali woman that Nikhil had in mind was to be molded not after Sita, the traditional and submissive wife in the Ramayana, but Durga and the goddess of Bengal. Nikhil never went to Bimla as a Sita, but he always believed that Bimla should be like a Durga. Up till now, Bimla was my homemade Bimla, the product of confined space and the daily routine of small duties. He never want that Bimla is a be like that homemade, but he always want Bimla to outside the world. She should watch the world and face the reality of the world. I long to bind Bim, I long to find Bimla blossoming fully in all her truth and power. At the end, we can say that by the end of the novel, Bimla came to know that what is her reality, as she came to know about the identity of Sandeep and the charm, what is the charm of Sandeep. But at the end, when she came to know about the reality of Nikhil, after the suffering and delusion, Bimla finally returned to Nikhil, the dear center of her life and love. In fact, she had never loved Sandeep truly, though she once fascinated by his external glamour and show. And when it tinery and cupidity get exposed, Bimla retreated to her home and the husband become all easy and inevitable. Her inner conflict, agony, and tension pass away, and she returned to Nikhil, who stand for Bimla's true love, devotion, and home. Thank you. These are my citations.
Dhruvita, my question is, as you mentioned in the character of Bimla, that Bimla told that a wife should be in the feet of his husband. So, do you find any changes on this belief in current situation?
Yes, I do. But in village, or there is still a situation are like that. But in a city or uh, big city, there has changed. Women are educated. They feel that now we are equal to our husband. It's like a partner. We are a partner. So concept of is like not ardhangini, but like we are equal.
Dhruvita, can you describe Bimla was more devotional or political?
Bimla is a swing between these two identity. Like when she was with Nikhil, she is devoted to her husband. But as Sandeep entered, she became political. She feels that I am the queen bee. I can change the Bengal. I can be voice of many women. So she is confused also with the two men. She changed her identity like that.
Next presentation, let me give a brief feedback to the previous three presentations that we have seen. So in the same way, when we give the scoring also, you can connect with those things. So first citations and other things also alphabetical order, and that you are now aware about. So you yourself can identify if you are making any mistakes in not having a proper alphabetical order. Yes, so that I need not pinpoint there. But how well are you integrating the sources? That is still very important to be seen. Let me share a screen, and so this was Amina's presentation. Okay, we have this resources that you have used. Alphabetical order is a problem. You see, B is coming at the bottom, so that is there. Last name of anybody whom you are citing should be somewhere significant to put in the citations. Then see, for example, when you say Bhaumik Subir, so when you write somewhere, you have to use the name that as Bhaumik Subir has said in so and so article, then what you do. So that way you keep on referring to your sources and try to agree, disagree, justify that. So citations, resources are not only to put it there, but you have to use it, integrate. That is why there is second last point in our rubric, which says the same thing. So in our rubric, you will see this sources support claims or not. If it is sources are exceptionally well integrated and they support claims argued in the paper very effectively, then you get full score. Otherwise, you don't get a score in that case. So that is the one point that you have to see. So that's why your points will be cut in this. Otherwise, you have made a good presentation. Then in this also we have citations, and see what you should do. Citations are supposed to be user friendly, that is reader friendly. The one who is reading should not be confused. So I want to see alphabetical order, so there is Britannica, then there is T Tagore coming in the same line, so it confuses that from B it has come to T, then it has come to H, then to O. So it seems like alphabetical order is not maintained. So what you are supposed to do, if you see Dhruvita's presentation, then you will find this. You can see this. This is called indented paragraph style, hanging paragraph style or indent. So the home in the world and accessed, if you see number 2, second, third, fourth, fifth, then first line is near the margin, all other lines are pushed back. Are you able to see that? Are you able to identify that? That way you should put. So it becomes more reader friendly citation. One can easily identify whether it is going in a proper order or not. The first is not according to that. Yes, first one is not according to that. Others are there. So that adjustment is required there. Okay? And when again the same thing, when you refer to any of this like David Atkinson, then somewhere you might be talking that as David Atkinson has observed, as he has said here or there, the arguments made by Atkinson, that way. You have to use linguistic markers to argue based on what you are referring to. And then what you want to say. Citation doesn't mean whatever they have said, only that you are saying. It is not that. So that source is there, you are taking everything and that. But you agree, disagree, what are your points of view around those points that are discussed, that also you have to bring in. And in this Banerjee Ayanita is from Rupkatha. Okay. Then another Goodreads is not a proper source. Qualitatively, Goodreads cannot be considered worth citation. Okay. Then this one, this website you have cited, Rupkatha. So when I opened this, I came to this page, indexing and abstracting and preservation of digital contents. Now, this doesn't have anything about what you are citing. It doesn't have anything that you have cited. So this is a faulty citation. Now, that is how people check when your research papers are sent or when your theses are sent for the review. The reviewer will try to cross verify what you, and then 2 or 3 places, if you have done something problematic, then people will start doubting that you might not have done other work also properly. So that you need to check. Then another one is cited in this. Dhruvita's presentation is ResearchGate. So when I opened this ResearchGate, we discussed earlier that ResearchGate or academia, they are not original publisher. They are just cataloging something that is published somewhere else. And this point is very important to be understood. Who is the original publisher? That is what you have to acknowledge. You have to acknowledge the original publisher. not the one who is allowing people to share the things. In case if you are not able to reach to the original publisher, and then if you are doing it is okay, and if you are not doing that and this, then it is problematic. So here it is written that this article is published in a book. In book, the title of the book is Beyond Boundaries, Critical Essays on Rabindranath Tagore, page 1 to 14. The chapter was Rabindranath Tagore, a biographical essay. Publisher was Bangla Academy and editor was Muhammad Khayyam. So that way, that becomes a source rather than ResearchGate reference there. So that sort, and if you want to tell that you have referred to this, then you can write that in a footnote or an endnote that you have referred to the article uploaded on ResearchGate, but this is the source. This is the source. So you are aware that ResearchGate or academia, they are not originally publishing anything. They are just allowing people to share their published work at some other places. It is easy for sharing because this book publisher may not be online. So we cannot go to the book website and read the article. So ResearchGate is doing a good service. They are doing a good service, but they are postmen. એ ટપાલી છે એટલે કોઈ આર્ટિકલ ની જર્નલ હોય અને એ ટપાલી મને આપી જાય તો મારે ટપાલીને સાઇટ ન કરવાનો કે આ ટપાલી લખ્યું છે એમ ન થાય. So they are like postmen who are delivering the things and a good service is done. So we can mention them that we refer to this for this, but we should not fail to identify where originally things are published. That is very important point also. Okay, so this way the things are there in this way. Okay, now you can let me come back. Yes, you can now start here. Yes, it is visible. Yeah, the Google Classroom is visible. Yeah. So I think you have to share that page also. Something like that might be visible. Share instead this page. Yes, for Dhruvita, I think there is one question in the comment. Are you able to read that question? It seems to be from Facebook live stream. What contribution in society of Bimla? Some Dilip Waghela has asked that question, so you can reply there.
Presentation ખુલ્લું છે entire screen share screen entire screen share ये तारा presentation नाम બધા ખુલ્લા મૂકી દીધા છે visible slides
We often hear the quote that जहाँ डाल डाल पर सोने की चिड़िया करती है बसेरा वह भारत देश है मेरा. We are proud for our religion, our culture, our tradition. But have you ever thought that
We are also having dark sides, superstitions in our religion, in our culture, and that is beautifully described by R.K. Narayan in his novel The Guide. So, hello everyone, I'm Dhvani Rajyaguru, roll number 4, and on this day, first day of presentation, I'm going to deal with Indianness in R.K. Narayan's The Guide. This is my information and points which I'm going to ponder. The first is introduction of author, summary of the novel, concept of Indianness in the guide, in which the subpoints are religion, nature of Indian people, problems of Indian society, hospitality, beliefs, values and customs of Indians, family relationship, narrow political motive, Malgudi, the Narayan's imaginative India, and the conclusion. So, who is R.K. Narayan? R.K. Narayan's full name is Rasipuram Krishnaswamy Iyer Narayan Swamy. He was born on 10th October 1907 in Chennai, Madras, in a Brahmin family, and he was also nicknamed as Kunjappa at his home. When his father was transferred, he was left behind to the care of his grandmother Ammani. And now, this her grandma's influence made him to learn the art of the story. This early education also helped him in Indian classical myths and tradition. Also helped him to store everything in his mind. And later, he has added meaning to the life by this. R.K. Narayan has started writing from his early childhood. He observed the life of the people around him and utter care, and then he also chose many character uh, by this. And it is said that he has framed character with the Indian artistic approach for over 60 years in Indian writing in English. He has written 10 novels and 151 short stories. Now, summary of the guide. Guide is the novel which is written in 1958 and it also won Sahitya Academy Award. It is there is incident that he had heard about some incident in which some Brahmin prayed to God for rain in knee deep water for 12 days and then it is rained in that village. So by this influence he has written the guide. Raju is the protagonist of this novel. He is coming from the lower middle class family. Their house is opposite to the Malgudi railway station in which he is living. He started his career with the profession of tourist guide. Well, it is say there is the thing that he was doing the job like he was the businessman where after his father's death, but he was really wanted to do the job as a tourist guide, and then he started people showing the Malgudi village, and then people started knowing him as a railway Raju. Then Raju later plays the role of lover criminal, and then in the end he plays the role of fake Swami. How the lover? When he was the guide, the person named Marco, who is the scholar, he came in that village for researching the things. Then his wife Rosie also come there, and then Raju falls for the Rosie, and he know that Marco and Rosie doesn't have that good husband and wife relationship, and then he started communicating with Rosie. He used to be with them, start spending time with her, and then they both fall in love. Then Marco know about that and he left Rosie. Rosie wanted to be dancer, and Raju also helped him with in his passion. Then Rosie become a very popular dancer, and her name was Nalini as a dancer. And Raju was helping her. Marco left her, but what happened that now Raju also only focus on money, that he is getting money, so he used Nalini as the dancer as a toy of this shows, and Nalini gets many shows. He doesn't care about Rosie that she will get tired, and but see he keeps make him dancing, and then one day happened that Marco gives the letter to the Rosie, some letters that doesn't no Rosie doesn't know that Marco has sent her the letters. So Raju sign on that letters and send that back. And when suddenly when the dance was going on the stage, police come and they take Raju for this illegal thing, and then he was in jail for 2 years. Rosie left Marco and Raju, both the people persons, and then he when he came back he became a fake saint, And what happened in the end of the novel, that there was drought, there was no rain in the village, and that's why people forced him to do fast, and now he faces the plight. There is no surety that he was dead or he survived after that. So this is the end of the novel. Now, Indianness, how Indianness is reflected in this novel. So the first is religion nature of Indian people. According to William Walsh, in his book, he written that the religion says of Indian myth is a part of Narayan's grief of reality, of his particular view of human life, and his individual way of placing and ordering human feeling and experience. What one can see about Narayan without qualification is that he embodies the pure spirit of Hinduism. Indian people are truly religion people. We all know that. R.K. Narayan beautifully exposes this religion nature. So first, Rosie is a heroine, the protagonist, a female protagonist of the novel, belonging from the family traditionally dedicated to the temples, as dancer, as her mother, grandmother, and before her mother, even as a young girl, she danced in this village. So they are the dancer of this village, and that is why they were known as Devdasis, which is also a religion ritual in India. The blind faith of Indian society on sadhus and religion men is depicted in their acceptance of Raju as a Swami. However, by becoming a sadhu and accepting traditional beliefs in sacrifice, self discipline, and purification, he brings harmony and order to his spiritual life. He was not actually the sadhu, but he didn't want him to do that intentionally. But then comes the incident that one person come there, and he told Raju that my sister is not ready to for the marriage. Then he explains that you do marriage, and then Raju is known as the saint there. So people blindly blindly believe that he is the saint. So after being after being released from jail, instead of going to his village, he prefers to stay in temple near river Saryu, near Mangala village, and he grown the beard, and that's why he was known as the sadhu there. And at the end, after doing fast for 11 days, he made sacrifice to save the life of villagers. So this is the religion aspect, and that's why V.S. Naipaul aptly says that Narayan's novels are religion books mostly, and intentionally the Hindu. Now, problems of Indian society is also shown in this. So, India is totally dependent on agriculture. Right now, we are also developing country, but mostly we are having so many farms and farmers in our country. And in the novel, R.K. Narayan described the problem of this country, the rains problem, dependent on agriculture. Agriculture depends on the monsoon, and if monsoon is not sufficient, then this worsen the condition of agriculture leading to the unavoidable famine, deficiency of water, vanishing cattle, hoarding by traders. And that's why this all leads to the pujas, sacrifices to please the god of for the rain. People do anything for please to the god. So the other another problem of Indian society is also seen here, that Raju's mother wanted that Raju should marry her brother's daughter. On the other hand, Raju's father wanted that Raju should run his shop near railway station, but he wanted to be guide. Rosie once again wanted to do career in dancing, but her husband Marco, who was scholar, he denied. So this indicates that Indian people are quite sticking to their old beliefs, so they don't accept the new beliefs very early compared to the other countries' people. Now another point is hospitality. We, the Indian people, believe in hospitality a lot. So in this novel, the Raju and his mother take care of every comfort of Rosie in the beginning. Raju's mother didn't know that she is married. So after she got to know that Rosie is married, and now she didn't allow her to live in her house. And Raju was on Rosie's side, so her mother left the house. So in the same way, Velan, which I have talked about, her sister was denying for marriage, and then Velan and other villagers of Mangla arranged the meal for the Swami. They were believing that this is the Swami, and he will change the scenario, and rain will come. So they feed Raju, and they don't ask any question to him. The another point is beliefs, values, and customs of Indians.
In India, we are having traditional beliefs, and if someone do violations for to that beliefs, so Raju do the same, that he 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 has uh, he has the do the violation of traditional beliefs, values, and custom leads to disorder and conformity to this leads to order in brilliantly illustrated his rise from tourist guide to Swami and to a maitre. So what Raju did, he in the eventually we feel like he will get some punishment, but what happened to him? He is living happy life. He developing an affair with Rosie, not showing respect for his mother, and still he is accepted by the villagers. Villagers are worshipping him. So we this beliefs what we feel, what the values are Indian culture is shown here. The family relationship, Rosie, as I told that Rosie's all the family members were dancer, and she also wanted to do that, but she was not allowed to dance, because that is, we believe that dancer is someone that is comes from lower caste family. So when on other hand, she was not even allowed for being with Raju was understanding her in the beginning, but when Marco found out, he left Rosie. And this way, beside all this fact, RK Narayan wanted to tell that the love, physical relation, and money is important part of the human life, and these are the driving forces of society and in the family relation also. Now the narrow political motive, there is the incident that political rulers of the religion, in the guide their government, the political people come there, deputes doctor for the fasting Swami, though they do not nothing for the drought stricken villagers. They do political people are not conscious about the people who are dying through the in the village by this drought, but they are constantly taking care of Raju, who is now the fake saint. And the last one in this guide, RK Narayan also make Malgudi a character. That is also actually a village, but he wanted to symbolize the imaginary local, imaginative country, the modern country, India. And according to William Walsh, who is the author of Indian Literature in English, in his page number 73, he has written that Malgudi is a blend of oriented and pre 1914 British, like an Edwardian mixture of sweet mangoes and malt vinegar, a wedding with its horoscope and gold aged elegantly printed invitation card, tiny shops with the shopkeeper haunts on the counter selling planetials, battle leaves, snuff and English biscuits, the Cosurians and the post office saving bank, the brass ports and the volumes of Milton and Carley, the shaved head and orc robes of the sannyasis, and Mesribin's catalogue of cricket bats. So this is how he narrated the William Walsh narrated the Malgudi village, which is described by R.K. Narayan. So in the conclusion, we can say that this is the fine example of realistic portrait of Indian scenario, Indian culture, and he, from being the guide to the sentimental adultery, a manager of Rosie, a jailbird, and then the Swami. This transformation of Raju from railway Raju to spiritual awakened Raju Narayan puts forward different religion, culture, social, economical aspect of Indian society. And he also focuses on family relation, religion nature of Indian society, and different problems of India like drought, blind faith, on sadhu, and superstition nature of Indian people. So these are my references. Thank you.
How does religion and karma affect to the character of Raju? How does the karma and religion affect to the character of Raju?
How does the karma and this affect Raju a lot? Like in the if I talk about karma first,
he was stick to his karma from the beginning to the last. Like he didn't intentionally become a sadhu or saint. He was really passionate to be guide. He fall in love to the Rosie. So karma was going on. He didn't wanted to harm somebody, and he was just going with the flow. And then he fall in love for the Rosie, and he was having so many debts on his head, and that's why he wanted Rosie to dance more and more, and that's why he can earn. But what happened that this intention of getting money a lot, that's why he did the wrong thing. He signed on the letters which are sent by Marco, and that's why he went to the jail due to his karma, the bad karma in the end. And the religion, when he came back from the jail after 2 years, his beard was grown and he was looking like the sadhu. So he was not religion actually, and he didn't wanted to be sadhu. But when he was there in the village, and one person show his seen one person show him, and that's why they felt that no, he's the sadhu and he will help us, then rain will come when he do fast. But that's why eventually he was not religious actually. But uh, all of a sudden he become a sadhu. So karma and religion both influenced him a lot.
Hmm? Not typed yet? Then it is not. Acha, okay. Yeah. Earlier one you have put earlier.
Uh, the culture and religion in this novel, is it relevant to present time also?
Yes, it is definitely related, connected with the current time and present scenarios. For example, we still believe in superstition. We have recently seen the cult series of Disney Plus Hotstar, and that is also shown that how fake sadhus are controlling the mind of human being, and especially the South Indian people, which is also R.K. Narayan told that. And as Rosie was not accepted by society as she was dancer, we still feel that the same, that if someone is coming from the society like dancer, or she is having many affairs, we don't accept them. We feel like no, they are coming from lower caste society. And this all the things which are shown by R.K. Narayan, this Indianness, this rigidity is still relevant to the current time, current period. Thank you.
Am I audible? Hello everyone, myself Divya Parmar, and today my topic is Partition of Bengal and Swadeshi movement. I have taken this topic as a setting of the novel The Home and the World. So this is my information. Points to ponder. Introduction of novel about the Rabindranath Tagore, Partition of Bengal, Swadeshi and Boycott movement, and citation. So, introduction of novel. It was originally published in 1916. Author was Rabindranath Tagore. Originally, it is written in Bengali language, and after that, it is translated in English by Surendranath Tagore in 1990. So, in this novel, we can find that Rabindranath Tagore has give ideas of the Western culture and Indian culture. Somewhere we find that comparison between Indian and Western culture also. The ideas of the revolution against the West culture. The novel set during the height of the Swadeshi movement and a boycott of a British goods that was initiated in 1905 as a protest against a Britain arbitrary division of Bengal into two parts. The novel consists 23 chapters and each of them a first person narrative by one of the three major characters. Here we have a three major characters Bimla, Sandeep and Nikhilesh. So in a particular chapter first person narration give by them characters. So Rabindranath Tagore was born on 7 May 1861 and died at 7th August 1941. His pen name was Bhanu Singha and nationality was British Indian. Period was Bengali Renaissance. So Rabindranath Tagore was the youngest son of the Devendranath Tagore, a leader of the Brahmo Samaj, which was the new religious sect in 19th century Bengal and which attempt a revival of the ultimate monastic basis of a Hinduism as laid down in the Upanishads. He was educated at home and although at the 17 he was sent to England for a formal schooling, he did not finish his studies there. In his mature years, in addition to his many-sided literary activities, he managed the family estate, a project which brought him into the close touch with the common humanity and increased his interest in the social reforms. He also started the experimental school at a Shantiniketan where he tried his Upanishad ideals of education. From time to time, he participated in the Indian nationalist movement through in his own non-sentimental and visionary way, and Gandhi, the political father of modern India, was his devoted friend. Tagore was knighted by the ruling British government in 1950, but within a few years, he resigned the honor as a protest against British policies in India. The partition of Bengal in 1905. Lord Curzon has made the proposal in 1903 to divide Bengal into a separate parts. During that time, in India there is a rise of nationalism, and Bengal was the center of this. And Lord Curzon made proposal to division Bengal around in 1903, but there were many protests against him. At that time, Bengal was not as small. Bengal, Bihar, Orissa, Assam, and parts of Chhattisgarh were only in one in the Bengal. The population of Bengal at that time was 78 million. After it divided into two parts, Eastern Bengal and Eastern Bengal's capital was Dhaka, and majority people were Muslims, and Western Bengal's capital was Calcutta, and majority of the people are Hindus. divided and rule policy. It is introduced by British government. At that time, Surendranath Banerjee and Krishna Kumar Mitra launched the powerful press campaigns by the two newspapers. First one is Bengali and second one is Hitabdi. Indian National Congress works with the petition, speech, and public meetings. Uh, Indian National Congress works against the policy of division and rule. So they protest with the help of a petition. They give a speech in publics and arrange the public meetings to make aware of people about the division of Bangla. So landlords also joined the Congress parties, and on 7 July 1905, British government announced the date of a Bengal partition. People lost their faith in ways of a Congress. Congress's protest against the Bang Bhang, but after that, it is not affected to the British government. And finally, British government announced the date of a partition of Bangla. So people started lost faith in Congress. So there were four main nationalists who uh, came. Came and make aware of the people. First one was Bal Gangadhar Tilak, who was guide people to Bombay and Pune about the partition of Bangla. Lala Lajpat Rai and Ajit Singh, both were guided people in Punjab and northern areas. And Chidambari Pillai from Madras. In Bengal, at that time, so many protest meetings were arranged, and those meetings they decided to boycott foreign goods. In those meetings, they were suggested to boycott the foreign goods. Indian natives started setting up swadeshi factories, schools, and colleges where local language was taught. So, with the idea of the boycott the foreign goods, also in India there is a new startup of the Swadeshi factories and Swadeshi things produce the Swadeshi things. Also, there are build up of schools and colleges where the local language was teach. The Swadeshi movement. Swadeshi movement, also known as the boycott movement. At the time, Indians were promoted Swadeshi things and boycott the British goods. And message was passed by the masses via festivals. So at that time, to make public meetings, they use the term like festival. If in festivals there are masses of peoples are coming and they arrange the public meetings and to aware about the what is bang bang and how we can protest against that. So Surendranath Banerjee started visiting so many places and inspired people to boycott the foreign goods. Foreign goods like mostly the clothes which is coming from Manchester and the salt which is coming from Liverpool. Bal Gangadhar Tilak started Shivaji Mahotsav and Ganesh Mahotsav in Maharashtra for the public meetings. For the aim of public meetings, they started to celebrate these festivals. Finally, on 16th October 1905, Bengal was divided. There is spelling mistake. Uh, at that time, people came out on the roads and show their protest and angers in front of British government. Vande Mataram became the theme of the Swadeshi movement. Foreign goods were burned all over in India at that time. Uh, After we can see effect of that, it is the Protestant of Indians were not even affected to a British government. So at the end or result, nationalists were arrested. Main nationalists like Bal Gangadhar Tilak and all his followers are arrested. Use of traditional popular custom and festivals for mobilizing the masses was misinterpreted by Muslims. So this is negative effect of Swadeshi Andolan, that they are using the term, they are celebrating festival to make arrangement of a public meetings. But mostly
Ganesh Utsav, which is Hindus festival, or also the Shivaji Mahotsav. Also, it is related to Hindu religion. So Muslims were misinterpreted, and by the mid of the 1908 movement was weakened. This is my presentation. Thank you. This is my resources and citation.
Why is the anti-partition movement named as a Swadeshi movement?
So when Lord Curzon came as the Viceroy of the India in 1903, he made a proposal with the aim of the divide and rule. So that time Bengal was very big, and the British government day by day progressing by their we are accepting their products, like we are using their cloth materials, salt and extra things, but they decide to divide Bengal into two parts, and main focus was on that religion partition. There was eastern part was Muslim and western part was Hindu, and divided of that they started protesting by they show their protest or anger by the boycotting of the things by which is introduced by British government. So boycott or Swadeshi movement arise like that to as show to anger or boycott British government or British rules. So it is called like Swadeshi movement to accept Swadeshi things and uh, uh, like that.
So, Divya, how partition of Bangla and Swadeshi movement influenced Tagore in his writing?
Uh, we in our syllabus book the home and the world, there we can find the Sandeep, the character which is a show he is characterized as a nationalist, or we can say that he is uh, in support of Swadeshi movement or Swadeshi things. uh, that we can see in Tagore's work. Also, we another character, the character the Nikhilesh, who is as a liberal person who is educated from British, and then he is liberal to the things that the good things are okay. So these some points we can find in the novel. So I relate point like these things are Tagore influenced in his writing.
Hello friends, today I am going to present the home and the world in Mansfield Park and Ghare Baire. This is my information. Introduction. As Gillian Dooley write her research paper that although widely separated by time, language, country, and culture, Jane Austen's Mansfield Park and Rabindranath Tagore's The Home and the World share some enduring themes. There is something very parallel things and similar kind of things in the both novel. Though there is many there is gap between this both novel, both written within the realistic tradition. So in Mansfield Park, if we can see that there is background that Jane Austen wrote this novel in romantic era, and while in Rabindranath Tagore, he wrote as previous presentation as we saw that in partition and political movements were going that so in both novel there is Mansfield Park is very much connected with romanticism, and the home and the world, the title also itself present that political movement and the Indian freedom movement. So, a conflict between the domestic and the worldly or political spheres, the inner and the outer. While talking about the inner and the outer, so inner home is very much connected in inner world. That here Tagore's title, there is word is use home, no not house. So home is made by people. House is that is materialistic, but home and the world. So the world and home is going very parallel. Uh, so triangle plot in the both novel. So we can see that Ghare Baire, that Nikhilesh, Bimla, and Sandeep. So there is extramarital affair with Sandeep and Bimla, and Nikhilesh is also involved there. So in Mansfield Park, Edmund, Fanny, and Henry. Fanny is the protagonist of this novel. She is supposed to live in her mother's sister home. There is the place Mansfield Park. Title itself that and Edmund is the son of her aunt, and Henry is the another character, Fanny and Bimla. So, as Dooley mentioned, that both are brought from their homes at an early age to live in a wealthy house. So, while talking about Fanny in Mansfield Park, so she is as going Mansfield Park as poor cousin of Edmund, and Bimla is girl wife. She is very early age. She got married with Nikhilesh, and so the age that we can see in the both novel, there is a very early age that they both are living in wealthy household. So they both come to love the older mentor figure. So I strongly agree with Dooley that Fanny is somewhere in her heart, or she is love towards Edmund, but she is not openly speak that I love Edmund. And Bimla, as in the case of Bimla, that she is mentorship of her husband, who is Nikhilesh is older than Bimla, and cousin Edmund is also older than Fanny. So while talking about home and world, there is itself that binary opposition. While talking about home, there is something absence of world. So in Fanny and Nikhilesh, so that Fanny is the very who is constant in her steady during love for Edmund. So here Fanny's love is present something that home in home, while in the Bimla's case, that her devotion towards love for Nikhilesh the love of these both protagonists is present at home. Well, talking about world, there is absence of this love. So, world is something in Ghare Baire, that world is Sandhi. So, it is that Sandeep is connected as world, and Edmund is drawn to Mary. So, Mary is something that connected as world. So, Mary is a sister of Henry. She is the bright, clever, immoral woman of the world, partly because she inhabits a social sphere with which Edmund is unfamiliar. So, Edmund attract towards Mary. Bimla's transportation to the house of Nikhilesh as a child bride is a function of her sex. While Bimla's transportation, that Bimla's marriage is connected with the function of her sex, because there is marriage. So Fanny's fate is more related to her class, because she's supposed to leave her aunt's house, her aunt's home, because her family is not able to maintain her mother and father are not able to maintain children, and not able to growing children, because they were poor. So the positive benefit that she desired marriage to Edmund, Fanny's desire that marriage to Edmund could be seen as the default ending. When talking about the ending of that both novel, so in Mansfield Park, there is ending is that very happy ending, that Edmund and Fanny both married after such a struggle, and happily ending. While in Ghare Bahere, there is ending that is tragedy. There is, we actually don't know that we just heard the news that Nikhilesh is died, but we actually don't know that where is his body, how he is died. So this inner plus outer world is that present. So Edmund and Bimla at this early stage in the story, as Chaudhary writes, that both look beyond outer social convention to the genuine value they see in Fanny and Nikki. So the age and sense of a woman in Fanny's case. So Fanny is very much sensitive girl, because she faced that financial condition at the very. She goes in her on her aunt's home at the very early age, that when she was 10-year-old. In Nikhil's case, the respect he accords Bimla as his equal, refusing to accept her worship in the cowardly way of other husbands. So, nevertheless, despite Bimla's admiration for her husband's wish for her to love him in the modern way, she is never able to make herself concede with her self-image, which is, we realized, in each case a projection on her onto her of male desire. The inner and the outer come together. So Edmund no longer needs to hide his misgivings about Mary from himself. Why Edmund is finished his relationship with Mary, because Mary is involved to the case when Henry and Maria is the another sister of Edmund. When Henry and Maria ran away, but the point is that Maria is actually Maria is already married with someone, and she ran away with Henry. So Edmund, on that case, very disappointed with Mary. So Fanny can now show her feelings. So there is that stage that Fanny has the chance to show her feelings for Edmund without the need for her self discipline and dissimulation. But she can't. Likewise, Nikhil also, that he has to chance that to stop Bimla. So, and Nikhil and Bimla are a married couple whose marriage is threatened by Bimla's infatuation with Sandeep. So, Bimla's marriage life is somewhere that destroyed while she goes to extramarital life, extramarital affair. So here is the both that Nikhil and Fanny both see clearly what is happening, but feel morally obliged not to act. While they both come to know that their love person, their favorite persons are there is the chance to talk with them, but they are denied. They supposed to stop here and not to act. What they did, go there. But in Mansfield Park, that Fanny come to know that Fanny is very jealous rather than Nikki. So Fanny feels very jealousy while she saw Edmund and Mary with come together. So both their cases, Fanny and Nikhil, are shown directing considerable mental and emotional energy inwards to rein in their heartache and to try to talk themselves out of their more extreme feelings of jealousy. So they talk. There is description in the both novel. They looking out at the night sky and they try to uh, they try to they try to calm their feelings and that their extreme feelings of jealousy. When in the same case of Nikhil is comforted by the star and what it means to him. For Fanny, staging is equally romantic, but rather more ambiguous because Fanny is very jealous woman. So, at the conclusion that the both novel is the presented home and world. So, both in the both novel, the characters and main protagonists were presented that home, and obviously there is conflicts between that three characters and that. So this is my word citation. Thank you.
Okay, so
So, my interpretation is that Fanny has more struggle. That in while both are, but Fanny has financial struggle than Bimla. But what Bimla did, she deliberately goes with her extramarital affair. So there is something that Fanny has to chance to talk with Edmund, but at the very at the very case of time that Fanny is that age of 10, and she struggled with financial problems and also struggled, also being very suppressed to how to talk with Edmund. So this is that Fanny, perhaps that is more has inner and outer struggle. Outer struggle that we can connect that financial problem also.
So Divya, as you mentioned the character of Bimla and Fanny. So my question is that which thing you like in both female character and why?
So in both female character, I like that their inner strength to fight whatever that situation. That Fanny is Fanny fought from at the very 10 years old. So, but the problem is that they can't involve themselves toward that outer world, and actually, because in their happiness for them life, for their happiness, they are not talking with their favorite person. So both characters are very much connected with themselves, and Fanny and Bimla. There is that historical background. So Fanny is very much connected with romanticism. So Jane Austen's this novel is present romantic era or romantic scenario, but Bimla's character, that at the end of the novel, her struggle is that she lost her husband, and still she is swinging between that what she did, what she doing. So the both character are their persona is that I love. So, in Fanny's character, yes, I forgot to mention that Mansfield Park is also controversial by talking about slavery. So, Fanny is at her aunt's house. At their childhood, there is huge. She didn't went her original house to went her mother and her father, but what she did not is that she couldn't raise her voice to earn. She is there as like slavery. She is there like to earn to live there, and she is also penalized by her aunt and other cousins, Edmund and other her one brother and two sister is also there. So I want to make change. If I have chance, that I probably make the change in Fanny's character to raise her voice against her slavery. So there is nothing that deliberately, but something that background in backdrop of Fanny's character, that there is slavery is there.
It is visible. Okay, my name is Emisha Ravani, and now we are going to have a presentation of nationalism through the lens of Tagore. This is my personal information. And who is Rabindranath Tagore? In many previous presentations, we have seen many sides of Tagore. And now I wanted to make a point that if we want to know about the nationalism views of Tagore, we have to go through first his philosophy and how he has contributed to the various fields of like he was composer, poet. He has written so many works, and majorly he was writing in the Bangla, and then it got translated into English, and then he got fame into West, even into the world. The literary and artistic genius of Tagore, which spanned over 6 decades, is nothing but a reflection of a sensitive artist, a sympathetic man of letters. He has written many letters, and I have just cited these letters in my presentation, so we can have glimpses of that letters. Even a profound thinker and a strategic experimentalist. I can remember his. Institution which was working under the name of Shanti Niketan, and in that he has brought new education system at that time. It may be considered a false promise if someone assures to introduce in brief his all encompassing intellectual engagements. Therefore, an introduction of Tagore's thought-provoking perception of Indian nationalism, focusing the very soul of his intellectual deliberation. In the research work of Sandeep Kharvi, he has written introduction the diverse cultures, religions, and languages that comprised the Indian subcontinent is in direct contrast to the European model of nationalism, which acknowledged the existence of one religion, one language, or one ethnicity. It is evident that individuals relate themselves with a piece of land that they live and revert the same tangible proposition by putting it on the high pedestal. Uh, Further in my presentation, we will get to know that how patriotism and nationalism is different itself into them. And now, as Sandeep has claimed in his research work that we have in India, we have the diverse cultures, religions, and languages. So it is an obvious thing that it will be very contrasting to the European model of nationalism, because European model of nationalism is under the columns of like one language, one religion, and one ethnicity. Uh, the Ghare Baire and Gora. These two works are very familiar when we want to get to know about the nationalism view, nationalistic view of Tagore. The Home and the World. Tagore writings illustrate the realistic portions of ordinary life meticulously and exhaustively. His The Home and the World is an exemplary work that showcases the transformation of a woman. As I have mentioned in his introductory part, that he was an experimentalist. So every work he was getting influenced or getting patient to write the words which can be helpful to the social political atmosphere which was in India at that time in 20th century. Bimla, who was content to confine herself to a family to get along as a propagator of patriotism. This characterization is a wonderful illustration of the element of nationalism through her portrayal in the novel. Uh, Tagore has very intelligently portrayed her character in the novel to portray nationalism and patriotism, and to make the difference between them by the character of Sandeep and Bimla. Through his writings, Tagore fiercely criticizes the practices that derogate people with a tag of nationalism. We can get to know that nowadays, or we can say in contemporary time, nationalism is under the influence of very negative term, we can say, because in nationalism, it is not allowed in the Tagore's view that it can be the tag of derogate people. His characters are depicted compactly and come across deftly to manifest the concentrates and imperfections within the context of its setup. His works majorly explores the sense of humanity and empowers the ostracized sections and their rights in family and society. We know that in 20th century, when Tagore was in the time, at that time there was the sectarianism was existed, and it has get influenced in literature in every aspect of society. By the research work of Sandeep Kharvi, I just able to mention my points under the comparison between the Gandhi's thought and Tagore's thought. Tagore believed in life of reasoning, as he was the main of reasoning. Amartya Sen is a mainly economist, but he is contributed many things in philosophy even. He is claiming the same rights. Tagore greatly admired Gandhi, but he had many disagreements, including nationalism, the role of rationality and of science, and the nature of economic and social development. This difference is with Tagore praising for more room for reasoning and for a less traditionalist view. As we have seen that he was the man of we can say he was the liberal man who was believing that if we want to develop Indian philosophy or India as a country, we have to uh, learn so many things of by the side of Western world, even as he was not allowing the traditionalist view in the kind of field of science and rationality. When we go to the Tagore's view about the freedom, he has written the renowned work that is Gitanjali, and he has won the award for that even. And in that, he has written these words that where the mind is without fear and the head is held high. Into that heaven of freedom, my father, let my country awake. uh, when we think about the freedom of India or independence of India, we came to know first in our mind that Gandhi and Tagore, these two people were very on the first row when India was getting the freedom, and at that time Gandhi was walking on the path of he was boycotting, or we can say avoiding these foreign goods and all those things. He was just he was not doing things by the violently, but the Tagore was one that who was expecting the freedom by the non-violently, as well as accepting the good things about Western world. When we go to the religion view of Tagore, that in his Gitanjali work he has mentioned, live this chanting and singing of telling of beads. Whom does thou worship? He is there where the tiller is peeling. He is with them in sun and in shower, and his garment is covered with dust. He was one who was believing in the God, and I feel that he was something somewhere inspired by the transcendentalism movement, because he is claiming that how one can worship and how God is existing in the world. Again, Amartya Sen emphasizing acceptance of Tagore by people of other region and religion rights, that Muslim citizens of Bangladesh had a deep sense of identity with Tagore and his ideas, nor from choosing one of Tagore's songs, Tagore's own description of his Bengali family as the product of a confluence of three cultures: Hindu, Mohammedan, and British. Tagore believed that India does not need to be insecure, and that it does not have the to protect itself against any force from outside, because we know we are having these multi diversities in our country. So it is India was fighting each other into itself. So he was one to intellectually thinker that India, what need India to be independent, what is nationalism. Now we are going to uh, see what is the difference of nationalism and patriotism. That is I have taken this both the definition in Oxford Dictionary. The nationalism, the desire by a group of people who share the same race, culture, language, etc., to form an independent country. A feeling of love for and pride in your country, a feeling that your country is better than any other country. So nationalism comes with the feeling of the group of people, and when we go to the patriotic, it is saying that having or expressing a great love of your country. That is as an adjective, and as a noun we see that a person who loves their country and who is ready to defend it against an enemy. So patriotic feeling is come with the individual, and nationalism is come with the group. Tagore's patriotism and nationalism. And in his letter, he has written that patriotism cannot be our final spiritual shelter. My refuge is humanity, and I will never allow patriotism to triumph over humanity as long as I live. As we know that he was the person who was promoting humanity rather than patriotism or nationalism or any other thing. Tagore had dissimilar beliefs on nationalism compared to Gandhi. Gandhi propagated Swaraj, thus influencing people to be part of Indian freedom movement. The rejection of the West was the core of Gandhi's ideology. As I have told in previous site that he was the core member of this ideology to rejection of the Western goods and all those things. Whereas Tagore had the different stance. Tagore, though was against British administration, he kept a safe distance from the idea of rejection of the West. That we can see the same thing he has portrayed in Nikhil's character. Nikhil was the businessman, and he was thinking like Tagore's glimpses we can see in his character, that he was not he was not a fully part of this rejection ideology, but he was thinking about the Indian people also and economy. Tagore, in response to the cultural nationalism, which believes in ostracizing the other nation as danger to their own existence, Tagore writes, whatever we understand and enjoy in becomes ours. It hurts me deeply when the cry of rejection rings loud against the West in my country, with a clamor that Western education can only injure us. He was the one that he allowed the Western education system to be in India. This is my work citation. Thank you.
So, Emisha, my question is that in the novel Home and the World, which incidents are describes Tagore's point of view of nationalism? Like there is incidents of swadeshi and all those backgrounds in novel. So, which of incidents uh, prove that Tagore's point of view of nationalism?
Yes, in the novel, we can say that then when these Sandeep's people come to Nikhil's factory, and they're just making them to shut down the factory and joining his movement, Swadeshi movement, and stopping to use these Western goods and all these incidents we can consider here. And we can say when we go to the nationalism point of view, Tagore has put two characters, that is Sandeep and Nikhil, and these both the characters are contradictory within itself. So we can say that Nikhil is somewhere having glimpses of Tagore's nationalism personally, and Sandeep is having this Swadeshi movement, but he was kind of violent in his way. So I cannot say that he was the side of the Gandhi's philosophy or ideas, that because of he was violent in somewhere in the novel. So yes, he has put the glimpses of his own ideas of nationalism in the characters even, or in the incidents even.
Amisha, my question is how Sandeep represent as nationalist, and second
question is that can we compare Gandhi as Nikhil and Sandeep as Tagore if
What was the first question?
first question is how Sandeep represents as nationalist?
Yes, Sandeep is kind of character that he was searching for his own benefits rather than to helping this movement. So it was the negative part of this character, and yes, he was doing kind of activities to be part of the swadeshi movement. And if we want to use the lens of Tagore, so we can say he was not um, he was not, we cannot put it character into the Tagore's nationalistic view. We can majorly put Nikhil's character in the Tagore's view rather than Sandeep. And the second question was,
Second is can we compare Gandhi and Sandeep as Tagore?
no, Sandeep, if we want to compare, then Sandeep will go with the not neither Tagore or neither Gandhi, because Tagore's view or ideas was very different from the Sandeep's character. It was, we can say, if we study the nationalistic point of views of Tagore, then we can come to know that okay, Sandeep's uh, characteristics is not going well into that, but Nikhil's characteristic is going in that way, and Nikhil is going with the views of Tagore. Sandeep is not going with the Gandhi or not even going with the Tagore, because he was violent in his way. That's why he is not going with the Gandhi's views. Hello everyone, I am Himanshi Parmar, sharing my presentation. Is it visible? So my topic is caste system, caste conflict and class conflict in the Kurz or Karna by T.P. Kailasam and in the present time. So this is my personal information, and first I want to go with what. Yes. Okay, so first I want to go with what is caste. So, according to Ketekar, in his book History of Caste in India, he said that caste is a social group having two characteristics. First, membership in confined to those who are born of members and include all person no born. And second is the member are forbidden by the annex, inexorable social law to marry outside the group.
And the another definition of caste given by E. Blunt in his book, The Caste System of Northern India. He gave the definition that caste is an endogamous group bearing a common name, membership of which is hereditary, imposing on its members certain restrictions in the matter of social intercourse, either following a common traditional occupation, a claim, a common origin, and generally regarded as a forming a single homo- homogeneous community. And this is taken from page number 12 of this book, The Caste System of Northern India. And if you want to read more definition, you just click to this link I have given here. And the second is what is class. So I have taken two definitions from Civil Service IAS Guide website, and these two definitions are Max Weber. First definition by Max Weber, that class is, he said that class held that classes are aggregated of individuals who gave the same opportunities of acquiring goods, the same exhibited standard of living. And the another one is given by Mac Ivor and Page. The definition is a social class in is any portion of community marked off the form the rest by social status onward and mimic of a social class is the aggregate of person having essential the same social status in a given society. For example, class consciousness. And to read more definition, you just click and go there. So now I'm going to begin my topic. So my topic is class and caste conflict in the curse or Karna and in present time. So first I'm going with education, that where the conflict of caste and class found in education. So first we find that Rama, the mythical character of Parshuram from Mahabharata, is decided to give education only to Brahmins. So when he decided to give education only to Brahmins, Karna disguised himself as a Brahmin, and he is taking education from Rama. But one day, then one Vittal, Parshuram is sleeping in the lap of Karna, and suddenly one beetle came and sting to the Karna, and the blood of Karna going to flow. And when the blood of Karna touches the feet of Rama, he found that this is the blood of Kshatriya. Why he found that this is the blood of Kshatriya? Because of the heat of that blood. Because he said that this much heat is only possible if you are Kshatriya. So he cursed the Karna, and you found that the lines of from the curse or Karna that he cursed. Here he said that if ever you should henceforth surely need the use of arms, you have learnt of me the barest talk, the merest thought of thy supposed Sutha birth crossing thy mind, will swell thy heart to sense of shame, will dull thine eyes and mind, numb and paralyze thy limbs beyond their power to hell. There maken thy slightest, smallest use of knowledge that you have learnt of me, evanuate, ere I light a future curse on thee. Rama curse the Karna. Now here we find the caste conflict, that if Rama does not want to give education to Kshatriya, it is fine. We have four castes, we have four division in caste, like Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. Then if we have conflict, Rama has conflict with Kshatriya, why he don't give education to Vaishya or Shudra? Why only to Brahmins? That thing we have mentioned here. And another thing we have find that caste conflict in education, we find that in Guru Drona there is a act 2 where Guru Drona is giving vidyas, or we can say education to prince Pandavas and princes Pandavas and Kauravas. So there we find that there is a competition of archery, and at that point of time Karna was there, and he is able to win the game instead of Arjun is capable to do he is to completed the fulfill the condition and of the competition. But uh, Karna is more capable than Arjun, and he show his willingness to do this to go to in this competition, but he was denied because he was Sutha. And again, Bhima remind him that you are Sutha, so you cannot participated in this competition. Even if he is capable, he is not allowed to participate in competition. And we find that all these acts, 5 acts, are end with the same dialogue, that poor Karna, or the dialogues like our Anga, our great Anga, our poor Anga. So we find that caste conflict is playing role. Even if you are more capable, even if you are, we can say, more able to do something or to win, you are not allowed because of your from lower caste. Now, where in education system where we find this caste conflict or in class conflict, so here we find class conflict in the privatization of education. If we see that because of privatization of education, we have lots of fee increasement in private sections, so only rich people are able to pay fees, or we can say the other people have to take lots of loan, and to make to give their child the education which is valuable, which is, we can say, more worthy. So if you don't have money, you don't get good education. That is the ultimate purpose. Of course, it is not like all the time, it is not true. There are some government schools also there who is giving good education, but mostly what we find that people have the craze of privatization, private school. So so because of that, only upper class people can afford all these facilities of giving education in private hi-fi schools and all other facilities. So here I have mentioned several memes. You can see that what is the condition of our education system. In the last meme you find that school and tuition fee, and there in the near that it is written that private school. So how private school are creating class conflicts, that we find here. And another one is caste based reservation system for SC, ST, OBC. That is also, we find that one of the uh, important conflict in our education system. So here you find all these posters which is saying that why reservation system is not necessary now, and why reservation system is, how reservation system is doing um, injustice with the students who are more capable. But if we see that reservation system is necessary, and for reservation system is also necessary, for that I have put here one TED talk video which is saying that why reservation system is necessary, and but it is not sufficient. So if you want to watch this, you just click and go. Then the another thing is class and caste conflict in marriage. So in Act 3, there is a Swayamvar of Draupadi we find, and Karna is also there with his friend Suyodhana. And all the other kings and prince are there to win to win Draupadi, or we can say to marry Draupadi. And there we find that no one from kshatriya are able to fulfill the condition that is given by the king, the father of Draupadi. And when this kind of thing happened, the Karna came ahead, and he said that okay, I want to fulfill this condition, I'm able to fulfill the condition. But again we find that is because of his caste, Draupadi denied him to marry. And the reason he gave is like, she don't want to marry Sutha. So again the caste conflict is coming there. Even if he is king, he is capable, then all the other kshatriya princes, he was marginalized because of his lower caste. And in present time, that we still find that there Draupadi denied to the Karna that I don't want to marry. And during this time we have in marriage we have social barriers, or we can say intercaste marriage are still not acceptable by majority. So here I have taken one chart. This is survey report of Indian Human Development Survey. There we have rate of intercaste marriage in caste wise. So most Brahmins are at the top of in intercaste marriage. It is 6.30%. Then the other forwarded caste 6.20%. Other backward caste 4.18, and scheduled caste are 4.79. So we can say that Brahmins are at the top. But there is one minor change we have to mention here is that even Draupadi is from upper class, from Kshatriya caste. She is not accept to marry Sutha. And now in present time, we find that Brahmin and other forward caste are at the top to marry in intercaste. So that change we have to notice. And another thing we have to see that how societies, barriers of society, harassing or we can say interrupting people's life regarding marriage. So here I have taken two newspaper cuttings. First is of news about the boy uh, that is saying that Gujarat teacher and his wife beaten up because their son had married out of caste. And the second one is, if you read that head subtitle, it is saying that a girl was killed by his own her own family because she was in falling in the love with Dalit boy, and also his family, her family threatened to the lovers that we will murder you also. So this how we can say that how society is treating people. Then the third one is subaltern cannot speak. And Act 4, we find that Pandavas and Kauravas are playing youth, and it is the throne room of Dhritarashtra. And there we find that Pandavas are losing his game and lost his everything, excepting their wife Draupadi. So, and then there is a scene of humiliation of Draupadi, and all the Kshatriyas are there, all the upper caste peoples are there sitting there, Brahmins are sitting there, but no one is able to raise their voice excepting Karna. And when Karna raised their voice, again Suyodhana remind him his Sutha identity, and he was got paralyzed because of his curse. So we can say that Gayatri Chakravarti Spivak, as said in his book, that subaltern cannot speak here. Here to Karna, the place of saying or saying against injustice are not given to Karna also. Now in present time, look at this: that Dalit teen shot after temple visit, and the another news is K. Tata BJP MP denied entry into village for being Dalit. And the third one is tension as a Dalit youth stabbed to death for using village road. So we find that how the Dalits are marginalized by societies. The situations are same. There also they are not able, they are not given space to raise their voice. Here also they are not. How we have this news in our newspaper, but the action that taken or not against the people, they are those who are done this. We don't know that what happened to them. Now Draupadi Swayamvar and current situation. So in Draupadi Swayamvar, we find that all the kings and prince are there to decide that whom to Draupadi marry and what is the condition of her marriage. And in current situation, if you see this newspaper that દીકરી પ્રેમ લગ્ન કરે તો મિલકત માથી કમી કરો કાયદો ઘડવા 400 સમાજની માંગ. So in this news we also find that all the boys are sitting to decide that either what woman should do or what should not do. Similarly in the Draupadi's case, we find that all the king and prince and his fathers are sat there to decide that if this will happen, then Draupadi will marry. If any of these king will decide, will fulfill the condition, then she has to marry. She has no choice. And similarly, this woman of present time also don't have choice. And if we see that what it, they all who were there in this Swayamvara are from upper class, or we can say kings and prince. So similarly, we find that in this news, if you read, there is most of the caste or most of the samajis are of upper class. We can say Brahmin, Chaudhries, and Patidars. All are there in this news. If you see, and thank you. These are my citations.
So my question is that in present time, which conflict you find profoundly much, class or caste conflict? In whichever point you want. Yes, you have mentioned education system and then marriage system.
To me, caste conflict is more like we can say more problematic because is something that we can you can reach that position, but class is a closed, we can say, closed area that you cannot enter. If you are born as a Brahmin or as a Dalit, you have to live in this position throughout your life. Even you reach at the top, and even you reach at any position, you just have to be that. You have to face that problem throughout your life. But class is something that you can change. Like if you do hard work, if you do something, you earn money, and you reach to the upper class. So for me, caste conflict is like more problematic than class conflict.
Okay, now your answer will be given in this one. You reply that in the chat. Okay? Now, okay, so next one we have to like start at 2:30 another session. It is already 2 o'clock. So next one very quickly. So put your question in the comment and answer in the comment. This remaining two, we will see if there is one question that can be taken. Okay, so by the time she is getting ready, let me share one example so that you all can improve a bit on what you are doing. In Divya Sheta's presentation, there was one source which was cited. Let me share a screen. Yes, so here there was this Gillian Dooley is cited here, Gitanjali and beyond. So when I was looking for the source, this link was opening. This link there. So, and while looking for this whole document, it came down to this page. This website was there. So Gitanjali and beyond.uk, that seems to be a blog which is publishing these articles. This is the site. Yeah. So earlier it seems like you have written with small g and small b, but here they are writing capital G and capital B. So that was an error. So initially, like if they are writing with small g and b, then it is acceptable. But when you cross verify, you find that no, they are not writing with small, they write capital G and capital B. So you have to write in a similar manner. Yeah? So that way you have to cross verify. Yeah? This is the process of cross verifying and reaching to the original source to see how things are being done there. And they have like editorial board, so it is a good sign that it must be of a good quality. And we find that there are academicians in this editorial board, so this can be a reliable source. This can be considered as a reliable source. So now this is a good article being cited here, and in this we can see that one good example we can see that when you are referring to any of these things, these ideas, like your title was almost like this, the home and the world in both this text. But are they referring to any critic who is a very renowned critic, not only about the original text, but this? So when you go down to the sources cited by this writer, we come to know that the writer has cited some Cambridge University Press works which must be of a good quality. Yes, Alka Anjaria is there. Original text is cited, Austin Jain. Another article which is published by Anthem Press, London, which is edited by Subha Mukherjee, seems to be of good quality. But then still we are looking for a good critic who can be used to talk about home and the outside. So we find Edward Said, Culture and Imperialism. That is one significant critic that we are finding here, who can be considered as an authentic voice when you talk about the home and the world, or the colonial, post-colonial arguments become significant there. So now I want to see how and where is Said cited. Is it only mentioned? Now this is what you are doing. most of you. That's why I am pointing out. So in the next semester, you will be working on research methodology. And then I will only say that I have pointed that in the presentation. Now, if your concentration is not here, then you don't know what was pointed in the presentation. So like Said is where we have reached, that Edward Said is a good critic here now. Now, how many times is this cited? So I will try to look with the help of Said in this reference. So now what I am seeing, the first result, 10 times I am seeing Said, but it can be Said also. So all 10 cannot be taken as a reference. But here, first one, Edward Said writes that Fanny is in a sense so and so. Now that is what I am asking, telling you, that when you put something in the citation, you have to use them like this way, that this person has written this. Then when I go to the next sort, the promise Said refers to, see, now he has referred to something, he has mentioned something, he has written something. Now, if that language is not coming when you write a slide or when you speak, then the source is not appropriately integrated into that. So, Said refers to it presumably. So, presumably, you don't have a guarantee. So, you say presumably. Then, Said is of the opinion that. Now, see, very easily you are getting what you have to do from only one article. That is the benefit of reading articles. You get the way of writing. That is academic writing. And these are the linguistic markers of doing academic writing. Said is of the opinion that this. And then this Said is not our concern. This is already cited. I have said is also not our concern. This is Said notes. See this, Said notes. As a note say, તમે વારંવાર ઉપયોગ કરી શકો. So and so person is noting, he has noted there. Austin's curious alteration of outside and inside. He has noted this curious alteration of outside and inside, the home and the world, inside and the outside, in a passage that is referring to there. So this is how you have to see what is integration of source, or when you refer to an article, how again you go to those sources to find that. Even in Dhvani's presentation, there was this concern of Indianness. So the first question that comes is that how will I find some authentic voice talking about Indianness? Whom will I cite? So whenever I think of my topic, I think of this, that I want to talk about this, but I need somebody as an authentic voice. So let me Google and let me see. So very quickly we find this Indianness in Indian literature by Sahitya Akademi. So Sahitya Akademi is one of the very renowned journals so far as Indian literatures are concerned. And you can rely on whatever is published in Sahitya Akademi journal. So while exploring the things, we come to know that, well, these are qualitative things which can be referred, which can be cited, or like you can say blindly, you can rely on that also. So JSTOR is there, where Sahitya Akademi journal article is there, Indianness in Indian literature, and it is giving something very interesting as an article, how we look at this and see how they are referring to. Very first line when you are reading this article, you say that Indian literature comprised only Vedic and Sanskrit literatures when Albrecht Weber wrote his history of Indian literature in 1852. So in 1852, when somebody was looking at Indian literature, he only thought that there is nothing beyond Ved and Sanskrit literatures in India. Then half a century later, in 1907, when Maurice Winterneeds wrote his history, the compass widened to include Pali and Prakrit also. Pali and Prakrit also. Further, when we look at the thing, we also find later on that there are regional languages and regional literatures and many other things. See how they are locating Indian literature, historically looking, that somebody has seen way back in 1850, but that was very limited way of looking at Indian literature. Now, many times we are surprised that even today people consider that only as Indian literature, Vedic and Sanskrit tradition. But It has already been challenged, and lot many things are added in that flow also. So this and then we see that very interesting. This is something translated, I think, from Malayalam language, and so various languages, and they have also referred to. Yeah, this is a translation from Malayalam, and that we see that. So you have to refer to various Indian languages and how they all talk about Indianness. And so this article seems to be good when we just overview. This we are reviewing article, and it seems to be good. So when we do thorough reading, perhaps we may find something really significant to think of Indianness. And then we see now in guide what kind of Indianness is coming and how he is connecting that. So that way you need to look at these things. Okay, so now let us come to this. Yes. Yes, you can share and you can start. It is already sharing. Yeah. You just open that page where you want to show.
Screen is visible. Screen is visible. Hello everyone, I am Hinaba Sarvaiya. Today is first day of presentation and I am dealing with the influence of Sanskrit in TP Kailasam's drama. This is my personal information and introductions. The Indo-English playwright wrote only for light entertainment on a different occasions. Some appears to have taken up writing in a serious manner, and thus they experience centered in the Elizabethan model and on the rich Sanskrit tradition in Indo-English playwright who also are in write a traditions way of Sanskrit language, but is a Sanskrit language in a directly play. It's a very difficult. We have to find it in the tradition of Sanskrit in this whole play, but we can find the influence of Sanskrit regarding the themes, techniques, and few other traditions. And in the field of Indo-English drama, there are only few names worth mentioning, like Sir Arbindo, Bharat Sarabhai, Harindranath Chattopadhyay, Kailasam, a few others who also taken the technique of tradition Sanskrit language traditions in the play and studying the influence of the traditions language of Sanskrit. About the authors, the Kailasam Tyragarajam Param Siva Kailasam, who was a playwright and a prominent writer of Kannada literatures.
He contributed to Kannada theatres and especially comedy earned him to title Prasanna Pitamaha, also known the father of humorous plays. His play mainly focus of the social problem like the dowry system, religious persecutions, wars in the extended family system, and the exploitations of women. And Kailasan's language was poetical even as it was satirical and sarcastic way. He also he used the language of poetic and in the way of dealing its technique of style to give in a satiric way of and a sarcastic way of in the language of his play. And no Indian writer cannot easily escape to the influence of the great work like the Upanishads, Mahabharat, and Ramayans. And in these TP Kailasans, who also the influence of the Mahabharat and the Ramayans and in the he with sparking with in humors unshaded in the new era in the Kannada social drama. Few profoundly for the themes of his English play from this great, namely. Now I am dealing with four play in a brief introductions in this presentation. The purpose is the story. It was Eklavya, the curse of Karna, the story of Karnas, and Kichak. Kichak was also the story of the commander man of the Virat. And these threes are dependent on the Mahabharat, and the fourth is the burden is the story. Kailasans also dealing the story in the put in the story in the Ramayana. The first is the purpose. In this story, Eklavya episodes form the themes of the play. The purpose which some deems a magnum opus of Kailasam. Magnum opus means is the great work of the Kailasans. The purpose is the great work of the Kailasans. And in the playwright given some natural touches to Vyada's story, making Eclavius observed the practice in archery from the distance before his self-practice, making him voluntarily offer his tongue to Drona and there be relieves his guru of dilemma. In this, in the Drona is a enunciations of essential requirement to study like the potentially of concentrations and single minded if what we can find the echo of the Taittiriya Upanishads. In these Kailasans, the wonderful imaginations, according to which in this play, the Kailasan also portrayed the Krishna image. It's a not be good. The Krishna also responsible to killing the Ekalavyas and killing Ekalavya, and that be preventing him from fighting against the Pandavas, and also fulfill his promise to dying Ekalavya by killing the latter's mother too. This play of Kailasam as well as his play Karna focus light on the element of fate of inexorable law of karma. Both are play the curse of Karna and Aliza Eklavya. Both are play the mainly focus of the karma. And another work is the curse of Karna. The Karna is the great warrior of the great epic, the Mahabharata. His sins throughout his journey of life is ignorant and rejected by most of the elite clan and Kaurava as well the Pandava due to his low birth, and is the playwright himself describing in sonnet Karna in a befooled baby against fate bewailing odds. And in this play, as Act 2, Scene 1, we find the Karna's word, the intrinsic worth. It is my liege, not accidental birth, that gauge humans use for Mother Earth. It means we have to the birth is no whenever we born, that elite class and lower class, it doesn't important, but we have your karma, your whatever we have patience about achieve in the life, that is important. Our karma is important. And this line can be favorably compared with his word in the play Vani Saharam. They also depend Devayatam Kule Janma Madayitam tu Porusham. It means કે ઊંચા કુળમાં જન્મ લેવો એ નસીબને આધારે છે, પણ પુરુષાર્થ છે એ વ્યક્તિ પર આધારિત છે. And further, Kailasam did not probably like to mark the comprehensive nature of Sanskrit. Words like dharma, brahmacharya, pariksha, karma, and hence use the same in his English play. This also used the words like dharma, karma in his English play. Even a scope for modification on contradictions can itself be a sort of indirect influence. Third is Kichak. The Kichak is a character of Mahabharat. The play originally conceptualized by T.P. Kailasam and written by G.P. Rajnathan is not about men of lust as depicted in the Mahabharat, but as men of law. The Kichak is a very powerful character, and he also in this Swayam, he go to the Swayamvar, Draupadi Swayamvar, and he loved the Draupadi. But in that Draupadi reject him, and in this play is notable lust, but is the love for men, the loves of Kichak by the Draupadi, and he remains unmarried or perhaps does not want to get married. And Kailasam Kichak reconstruct from his memory by Sri B.S. Ramarao. And the fourth play is The Burden. The Burden, Kailasan resort to the Ramayana of his themes. It appears that Bharat plays the Pratima has directly influenced Kailasam through the playwright's own skill, and beauty can be seen in The Burden. And in the such a wonderful influence of the Sanskrit on the Kailasam, in conclude, let me quote the late Professor K. Rampathy Giri Rao. He said that the Sanskrit and Sanskrit epic and classic made a profound impressions on Kailasam. It means the Kailasam is also very well to influence of the Sanskrit language, and Kailasam also known that the ones and only the Kailasans can Kannada. And this is the references, and thank you.
So let me give the final comments here. Okay, so by and large, it was a good. You all made a good attempt. A few suggestions were already given in between about what things need to be changed. And I hope subsequently we'll keep on making those changes also. So as we move on, we want to see that things are improving. The same errors should not be committed. The same kinds of mistakes should not be committed. That is what we want to see. So those students who are still like making error or mistake or not getting the idea about sharing or this, do some rehearsals in your off time, like when the semester is going on. Try to use StreamYard, connect a meeting, do some rehearsals so that you are in practice. Otherwise, it will be difficult to work out on the things. Aamena presented on this superstitions in R.K. Narayan's short story. Well, so first question like you need to ask is why people believe in superstitions? Why people believe in superstitions? Is there any science behind believing in superstitions? Because people throughout the world believe in superstitions. So that you can ask, and you will find very interesting resources about why people believe, and then you can connect that with R.K. Narayan's story, and you can talk about it. So that way you ask a question when you decide a topic about superstitions. First question is how is superstition being investigated by scientists, by psychologists, and what way they are justifying that, and then you read a particular text. This is what will be expected when you write your dissertation in next semester. So right now we are giving you some ideas so you can look at your topics in that way. While I was just going through that, I found very interesting articles like why people believe in the in such kind of things, or science of superstition, and lots of writings were there, which is already done by psychologists and other people. Bhavna, I suggested you need to like still work on the thing, do rehearsals so that you can also answer extempore questions. That is where the things are tested, that you are good in answering like not prepared answers. What you have prepared, you can read it well, but if that way the questions are asked suddenly, then how do you frame your sentences? How do you speak in correct English? That all is very important, because now just within 6 months you will be trying to become a teacher and going to some schools or colleges to teach. But then in the interviews, when people ask you the questions and you have failed to answer, they will doubt whether how have you done your MA? Have you been sincere in your MA studies or not? That all can be doubted with that. Dhruvita, you're studying character of Bimla, so you have to like refer to some feminist critics and what are they saying, and then how you read that. Without that, it will be incomplete. So whatever we are taking to study, what are the seminal writers about that? Like we gave the example about Edward Said when you talk about home and the outside, inside and the outside. So that writer has already referred also. So that way now, because we have studied literary theory and criticism also, in cultural studies also lots of references to those were there. Now that should come very handy to you, and then you Google it. So the answers are there with the Google, but if you don't have a question, then it will be problem that what to Google. That if you don't know, then you do not get to that. So when you study a women character, some of the feminist critics becomes necessary to be mentioned. Divya Parmar also did well to that, but this all concerns are there also. This all concerns, I'm not repeating this. Divya, Sheta, we referred to that how it can be done. Okay. Emisha, also like nationalism is a topic where you can find lot many sources. You cited only two sources there. So you need to like refer to many other voices about nationalism and that you can cite. Reaching to a very good quality and authentic resource also is very important now. Now we should start looking at that also. Himanshi also prepared very well, connected with contemporary things also. That was good connection. And I've seen in a previous other also who has done that connection with the contemporary things. That is a good way of looking at the text. And you also like when you refer to newspaper, you have to cite newspaper or TED talk you refer. So that also should be cited. So all those references that you are putting there, like which newspaper was it, what was the date of that, which column it got published, so that references are necessary. See, that's why that say that somebody has written about Indian history, but when 1852, now that date is so important for us. So that's why the citations and the date in what on which day in the newspaper it came. If the newspaper is 100 years old, then well, then it was normal thing. But it is a recent newspaper, then it is something obscure. It is something worth taking note of. So that you need to do. And Hinaba, also like you referred to a good article from Gestor and Sahitya Akademi for your presentation. You referred to S. Krishna Bhatta's article. Yeah? So as we said, no, that Said says not. So that way you have to say that S. Krishna Bhatta noted, he referred in this way. And then what is your way of telling that? So that connection, if that bridge is done, it is a good quality. That only you need to work on. Okay, so last one, Hirvas, we will take now in this after a small break of just 10 minutes. Okay, so we are ending this session now here. Okay, so yeah. And very